Teaching is demanding work. It's normal to feel tired at times. It's normal to feel stressed at times. But if fatigue and stress sustain over a period of time, you're in danger of burning out. And burnout poses a risk to your physical and mental health. I'm Julie Hasson, professor, researcher, resilience trainer, and creator of the Teacher Recharge Framework. In this video, we're going to talk about why teachers are burning out and what we can do about it. In a recent Gallup poll, K-12 educators were identified as the profession with the highest rate of burnout. In this poll, 44% of K-12 educators reported feeling burned out always or very often in their work. In a National Education Association survey, 90% of K-12 educators identified burnout as a serious issue in the profession. The World Health Organization recently identified burnout as a diagnosis with implications for physical and mental health. And what causes burnout? Burnout happens when the demands of our work exceed our resources to effectively navigate those demands. And over time, when our demands exceed our resources, we end up moving closer and closer to burnout. I'm not an expert on American football, but I think it may be the best way to illustrate what's happening with teacher burnout. So if we think of our work lives like a football field, at one end, in one end zone, is the zone of burnout. And when we find ourselves in the zone of burnout, we're probably experiencing some physical and emotional symptoms. Physically, we may be experiencing fatigue, disturbances in our sleep, decreased immunity, so we're getting sick more often, and maybe changes in our appetite. All of those things have a detrimental impact on our health and can have a detrimental impact on our health over a long period of time. We also might be experiencing some emotional challenges. Maybe we're feeling a sense of apathy. Nothing makes us excited. Maybe we're experiencing some unhelpful feelings and moods. And again, that just feeling of being tired and lack of joy. At the other end of the field is the zone of satisfaction. That happens when we have enough resources to manage those demands in our work. In the zone of satisfaction, we find purpose and meaning in teaching. We find satisfaction in our relationships. We find joy in impacting the lives of our students, our colleagues, and our community. We're always somewhere on this field, somewhere between the burnout zone and the satisfaction zone. How do we stay closer to the satisfaction zone? There are two ways to do it. The first way is to decrease the demands. Now, some demands are just inherent in our work. Trying to meet the needs of multiple students all in one classroom, each with their own strengths, struggles, goals, interests, preferences, that can be overwhelming. That's a demand that's not going to change. But some demands can be reduced by school, district, or state leaders. Reducing class size so teachers can spend that individual time with students, can give timely feedback, feel like they can manage the classroom better, is one way to reduce demands. Looking at teacher schedules. Are our schedules overpacked? Do we have time for a break, for planning, for collaboration? Do we have time just to think a solitary thought? Managing schedules is a way to decrease demands. Workload. Are we reducing unnecessary administrative tasks? Or if we find that we're not being able to hire enough support staff, or that we're losing teachers and asking other teachers to cover those duties, that's a surefire road to the burnout zone. As teachers, we need to advocate for our needs, and as leaders, we need to make sure that we're paying attention to the demands. And when those demands are exceeding the resources our teachers have to navigate them, we need to do something about it. The second way to stay in the satisfaction zone is to increase teacher resources. Those internal resources, those support systems we have to better navigate the demands of our work. That's why I created the Teacher Recharge Framework. In the framework, we focus on three main areas to help build the resources we need to effectively navigate the demands of our work. Those three areas are relationships, reframing, and resilience. We focus on relationships first because relationships can be a buffer against some of the stressors in our work. When we build strong, supportive relationships with our colleagues, those colleagues can provide a listening ear, they can help us problem solve, They can support us when things get difficult. And it's just more fun to come to work where we have relationships with people we like, where we can collaborate, we can work together to make an impact on all of our students. And we also focus on building strong relationships with students, because when we build those strong relationships, we're less likely to have conflict with students. Students are more likely to comply with our directives, which reduces the stress and demands a little bit. And also, relationships with students help us find that joy and satisfaction in our work. When we see our students grow, when we see that we're making an impact, we can really feel satisfied. The next place we focus is on reframing, because teaching is full of challenges, and the way we navigate those challenges can either make us satisfied or burn us out. When we encounter a challenge, especially an unexpected difficulty at work, we can go through 3 steps to turn that challenge into an opportunity to either make an impact on a student or to grow ourselves. The first thing we have to do is regulate our own emotions. Take a pause, take a breath, become aware of what we're feeling, and release some of that tension and stress so that we can get really curious about what's going on. Then we can ponder what's really happening here. We can question the stories we're telling ourselves. We can find the information we need to make a good, thoughtful decision. And then we can make the best decision that moves us forward, that positively impacts our kids, our colleagues, and us as professionals. Then we just persist in that dance of pausing, staying aware of what we're feeling and how we're doing, and getting curious, asking questions about our students, ourselves, and our work. And practicing strong relationship building, reframing challenges as opportunities, both require resilience. Resilience happens when we practice self-care. Now, I'm not necessarily talking about lavender bubble baths, chocolate and coffee, although if those things are helpful for you, please make time in your day to do them. But I'm talking about real self-care, which is understanding what your body, mind, and soul needs and consuming those things that are good for you. What are you putting into your body? What are you eating and drinking? Are those things helping you have energy? Are they helping you navigate challenges and sustain in the work? If not, pay attention and make some more helpful choices. What are you consuming in terms of media and entertainment? Is it helping you? Is it charging your battery, or is it depleting your battery? Is it causing you stress? And resilience also requires attention and intention. What are we giving our attention to? What are you giving your energy to? I remind teachers all the time to stay in the sweet spot. The sweet spot is that intersection between what really matters and what's within our control. Because we can waste a lot of our precious energy on things that don't matter. We can certainly waste energy on things we can't control. Instead, we can pay attention to what is in that sweet spot and invest our energy there. We can set an intention for the day so that we're not blown around by whatever challenges, situations, issues come up in the day. If we know what we want to focus on, if we decide for ourselves what we want to accomplish, then we can feel successful at the end of the day. Building our own resilience is an important part of building those resources that help us navigate the demands of our work. When we focus on relationships, reframing, and resilience, we can move closer to the satisfaction zone and spend more time there, and we can avoid that dangerous burnout zone. I hope I've given you some ideas for how to stay in the satisfaction zone. If you want more resources, head over to teacherrecharge.com. You'll find the Teacher Recharge quiz to help you understand how you're doing in each of those 3 areas and where you have an opportunity to strengthen those areas. And you can also find the Teacher Recharge Framework free ebook filled with lots of resources and practices for you to help you stay in that satisfaction zone. If you liked this video and found it helpful, please share it with a teacher friend. If you have other ideas for staying in the satisfaction zone, drop those in the comments as well. We'd all love to learn from you. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of the resources we share. Our goal is to help you stay longer, grow stronger, and keep making ripples.